Hey guys, Ryan here with Skyline Acres. Welcome back to part 3 of this series where I'm turning a 55-gallon drum into a 3-point hitch tractor ballast. Now, if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, go back and watch it. You know, it'll kind of give you insights on what I've got going on here. But anyways, what you saw me welding there was this top link piece. And I had unbolted it from the drawbar down in there. And what I did was I welded on some rebar onto the sides. And I'm getting ready to bolt this back up. And that's just gonna kind of provide this thing with some extra support. All right, so what I did here, just so now that it's on there, might make more sense. I just welded some rebar on the sides here. That way you give this thing something for the concrete to bite into rather than the smooth tubing. So that was one odds and ends I needed to do. By the way, I have like 30 feet of rebar. So, I mean, it's just easy enough to cut with the plasma cutter and toss it on there. The other odds and ends that I needed to wrap up was I got the trailer hitch here and I wanted that to bite into something in the concrete. So what I did was I drilled holes there, and a vertical hole there, and I put some rebar in there, just like that. I've already done that, but you can see if I get down in there, hopefully you can see that, but that will really give the concrete something to bite into on that receiver. I believe the only thing really left to do that I can think of, I'm sure I'll add stuff. It's gonna be a couple days till I get concrete in here. But I had this idea, I actually saw it online. God put basically this shape of rod on the, you know, he came through his barrel, added this, and he had a place to hang things. And his wasn't this. His was like a homemade rod. And I got to thinking, I said, you know, a concrete anchor, just a pre-made concrete anchor, would basically do the job and I don't have to build anything. So this is just a concrete anchor. You can buy them individually at Ace Hardware. And what I'm gonna do is put it in opposite of the way you would normally put one in. You'd normally put it where the hook goes into the concrete. But I want to utilize the hook. So I'm going to drill a hole back in here, and I'm going to end up with two, you know, rods sticking out to some degree. This part will be encased in the concrete back here, and I'm not sure where I'll mount them. And then I'll weld, temporarily, I'll weld it to the barrel there. So I got the concrete anchors welded on. They're actually super solid. It's amazing how solid this stuff is just welded to the wall of the drum. Moving on to the hook in the top of the drum. I don't know that this is totally gonna work, but I'm gonna make one anyways and kind of make a decision. It may or may not be strong enough, but I have seen other people do this, so I'm assuming it's strong enough. Anyways, I was trying to figure out how to get the radius in my hook, and I had this old brake drum laying around. I'm gonna try that. All right, I think we have somewhat of a starting point. It's wider than I wanted, but I knew the brake drum would probably do that. so now that I got the hook made, guys, I thought that was the last thing I was gonna do. And then I was reminded that there's one more thing I gotta do. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm gonna go to the store and get it. And several people suggested it. And also, you know, I think it'd be handy. I waffled back and forth whether I was going to do this or not, but I decided to do it because if you don't do it and you wanted it, it's too late. So what this is like a long-handled tool holder, rake, shovel, whatever. A lot of people put them in their barrels. That's what I'm doing. This whole thing can get a little more complicated than you think. Do you put this flush with the barrel? Do you not? Most I see are flush, which I'm not going to do because I'm using a cap right here. This is 3-inch PVC, by the way. Got a cap on the bottom. That way, if the bottom of the barrel rusts out or you drop a tool down in there too fast, it's not, you're not relying on that thin drum to hold your tools in. So that's number one. Number two, most I've seen cut the PVC flush with the concrete. Guess what? Can't use any kind of a cap. Now you're relying on a drain hole that you've drilled in the bottom of the drum and the PVC to drain everything. Well, if you can't cap it, leaves and different things are going to get down in there, clog your drain hole up, and there you are. I'm not even going to drill a drain hole. I think it's unnecessary. If I absolutely had to get in here, a shop vac hose fits right down in here on 3-inch. But anyways, when it's not in use, I don't see myself using this all that much. But when it's not in use, I'll just have it capped. It's above the concrete enough that it'll just, you know, it'll go down, it'll be good. Nothing can get in. When I am using it, I'll just take the cap off and I'll plop it in the toolbox. Well, it is now the next day. As you can tell, kind of nasty out. I had to wait for it to stop raining this morning, but I've got the tractor out, which I used to bring up 13 bags of 80-pound bags of concrete mix. Got this at Lowe's on a special, so did pretty well on that. Once I use the concrete, get it in the barrel, it's cold out here. I mean, it is freezing cold. I am going to, you know, once this is full, I'll use the pallet forks, and I'm just gonna push this thing into the workshop tonight where it won't be freezing. Also, I have 2 old brake drums I'm gonna throw in there. They're really heavy. And one other thing, I did a couple last minute preparations, but if you're building one of these at home, don't forget, it's easy to forget, put duct tape over the back end of your receiver tubing here. That would be a bad day to have concrete come out of that thing. As far as I know, we're good to go. Quick update. I'm at 4 bags right now. So about a third of the way through. Got the brake drums down there almost covered. I threw some rebar in here. I had a 10-foot long piece of 1/2 inch rebar. Cut it into 2.5 foot long pieces, which is 30 inches. And the top of the barrel is 34 inches. So got 4 even pieces out of that. Tell you what, guys, I was using a normal shovel at first, and I was like, I'm gonna go get this transfer shovel, this flat shovel. Man, that thing gets right in the bottom of that mixing tub and gets every last drop of it. So what I'm doing here is I just got a little 18-inch piece of rebar, little leftover piece. I'm just kind of working things around. This is bag 7 right here. All right. Well, I had to take a couple second break there and tarp my concrete there because it started sprinkling a little bit. So I don't think it's gonna be much. Guys, here's bag number 10 going in. I was able to get my loop pretty much where I wanted it, like the first go round. Thought maybe messing with that would be a struggle, but it wasn't. That is 11 bags of concrete. It's 11 in here, that's 12, and that's 13. So let's see if 12 fills it up. I'll tell you what, I was reading a lot on the internet that 12 will fill them up. And I was thinking it'd be less for me because I had the receiver tubing, the PVC, the brake drums, different things, but I'm glad I bought an extra bag of concrete. I'm kind of thinking it might take a little bit of that other bag there. I don't know, guys. I don't think that's going to quite be enough. All right, that is bag 12. Bag 13 is right there. Let's get this thing filled up and get moving on here. Let's get it up. That is 12.5 bags of concrete right there, all the way to the top. There's the other half a bag, 80-pound bags right there. Next step, I'm gonna let this set up a little bit, and then I'm gonna move it inside with the tractor, and we'll get the heat going enough in there to be good temperature, and let it set up. So anyways, put in the comments what you think it weighs, and whoever's closest, I don't know, I'll give you a shout out or something next video, because next video we are going to be weighing this thing and we're going to know exactly what this thing weighs. phase one of seeing how much this thing weighs is picking it up with the loader. So I do have the tractor in four-wheel drive. All right, let's set it inside. So it has now been about 2 hours later since I poured this concrete in here. I've got it 61 degrees inside the workshop now. So that'll be a great environment for this to just set here over the next couple days, week, whatever, and kind of cure out. I kind of drug this out, but it was a fun project. In the last video, I will be painting this thing and we'll be weighing it. So don't forget to put your guesses down in the comments down here of what you think this thing weighs. If you guys want to see how we got to this step, I will put part one of this video up here. If you want to watch that, I'll meet you over there. And on that note, guys, I appreciate y'all watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you again next time. Y'all have a good one.